All right. So, good evening, everyone, and we are live. And welcome to Accenture webinar on chatbots with Chammy and Marielle. So, just a few reminders. This session will be recorded, and if you feel uncomfortable being included in the recording, so you may drop off from this call, and you may post your questions anytime in the chat window found in the right hand of the screen. And should you want to post anonymously, just tick the post as anonymous box found below. All right. So let's start. So again, good evening, everyone. So my name is Shami, and with me here is Marielle.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Okay, there she is. And we are part of Accenture's AI group, and we will be discussing all about chatbots. So for this session, we will learn why chatbots are beneficial to many industries today, and as well as the requirements and some available tools that we can use whenever we want to start building our own application. So first, let's begin our discussion with a brief introduction on artificial intelligence. All right. So, Marielle and the participants who are in this session as well. So, I have a question for you guys. So, yeah, you may think of some answers to this as well. So suppose someone um gives you a car, or if in case you have a car, so what do you need to do in order to use it? So can you answer that, Marielle?
Oh sure. Honestly, I don't have a car, but if
Mm-hmm.
I will be given a car, and I don't know how to drive. So the very first thing I need to do is learn how to drive.
Okay, so if someone gives you a car, so you will probably enroll in a driving school so you can use it. Okay, yes. So before obtaining actually our driver's license and anything that we need um in order to drive, so actually the most important thing that we need to do is to learn driving. So we need to train or to undergo training in order for us to know the essential parts of the car, the traffic signs and their meanings, the traffic signals, and probably the routes that we will be passing through. Right, and until we become masters of the road, and it is for us. Um, it's our way of learning, and it's also possible nowadays for our machines to learn driving actually, because they can also be trained and be familiar with the essentials of driving. And this is actually how Tesla and Google's driverless cars were built. So if you are aware of those applications, so the way they learned driving is actually how we also learned it. And this is possible because of the concept of artificial intelligence. So, in simple terms, artificial intelligence is a broad area of computer science that makes machine um, to seem like they have human intelligence. AI provides systems the capability to sense, to comprehend, to act, and most importantly, to learn. So, Mariel, suppose you already know how to drive, and then um, you already know the different traffic signs and the meanings of these traffic signals, and suddenly some roads are blocked or some roads are under repair. So as a car owner, so what do you need to do in order to still use your car?
Uh, I think I need to find another route in order for me to find a possible route and for me to not undergo with that route. So I will
Mm.
find another route.
So you'll find other ways
Yes, yes.
to arrive at your destination. All right. So yes. So in case we have roadblocks or other situations, of course we need to analyze the conditions. We check for the roads that are not passable and look for alternative routes. So our machines can also learn these real world experiences through uh, data. And because of its capability to learn, it maintains its relevance and it also improves its performance. So today, we hear a lot about artificial intelligence, and we actually use um, some of the solutions under AI for different use cases, of course. And some of these solutions, other than the driverless cars, include these cognitive robotic process automation tools, um, the applications that we use for video and text analytics, for example, or biometrics, and chatbots, which is one of the most common manifestations of AI. So let's focus more on chatbots as an AI solution. So, what are chatbots? So, in simple terms, chatbots are non humans that can perform a task for you. So, these are smart assistants that can interact with people and can do certain tasks. So, such as answering questions, um, giving recommendations, or processing our data. So, chatbots are actually not new to us. So, we have this concept way back in the 60s. And in fact, the very first chatbot was built around 1966. And the name of this bot was Eliza. So Eliza is like an old mainframe interface. So um, and this was used for psychotherapy at that time. And Eliza uses simple pattern matching in order to respond to users' queries. So aside from Eliza, so we have a lot of bots in the earlier years, and probably in our younger years, we became familiar or have used um, these bots. So, for example, you are fond of playing Game Boy in the past, so you might have encountered or you might have played these games that have integrated bots in their environment, and we can actually use these bots to guide us throughout the game. And also, if you have used an older version of Microsoft Office, so you might have met Clippy. So, in case you have queries about navigating through these applications, so Clippy is there to assist you. And this little yellow figure that you can see. So, hopefully you're still familiar with SimSimi. So SimSimi is actually a bot that was published around 2002. And whenever you're lonely and or for example you want small talks, so SimSimi is always there to talk to you, right? And we have more bots that we have used um, during those times. And due to the advancements in our technology, so we now have these new generation bots. So these bots are um, deployed in different devices such as our phones or our laptops. We can also see these bots embedded in some of our websites and other tools. So these bots provide a new kind of user experience in terms of automating our some of our tasks and um, in terms of engaging people in our conversation. Okay, so we can actually um, summarize or generalize the tasks of chatbots into these three terms. So first is it can answer direct questions from the users. So it's actually like an FAQ, but in a conversational way. So, for example, you want to ask what are the available items in this online store. So a bot can answer your specific or that specific question. So it can also redirect us or it can also direct us to a specific resolution path. So for example, you want to apply for a loan. So a bot can assist you in applying or yeah in applying for your desired loan. And also it can give advices or recommendations to its users. So in case you want to apply or to avail a credit card, so bots can actually give advices or give recommendations on which type of um, card you can buy, right? So essentially, we can integrate chatbots in our day-to-day activities because of the services that it can offer to us. So either for our business, in school, or even during our leisure times, we can encounter or we can utilize um, these type this kind of application. So, for example, our banks and telcos have their own bots. Um, Online shopping applications can have their bots. We can also use our bots for home automation and other similar scenarios. All right. So, in case you want to build your own application or your own chatbot application, so you will need to undergo these three phases. So, the first phase is the design phase, where you create the persona of your chatbot. So, for example, Marielle, so Well, the first
Yes.
time you um um used Siri, so how did you visualize the application, or how can you describe Siri the first time you use it?
Siri for me is pretty clever and sometimes she's quite funny too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah, for those who are listening to us, you can also think of how you describe certain bots that you have used. So, well, for me, when I used Siri, I think of it as like a sophisticated girl. So, well, maybe because the designer or the developer of that application wanted the users to describe it in that way. So we can actually we have many ways to um, um, provide the persona of our application. So we can it can be by its avatars or its logos, the way the bot responds to our queries, and it can also be by the tone of its voice. So yeah, for example, Siri is like a sophisticated New Yorker for me. And for example, Waze app. So Waze app allows us to customize its voice depending on how we or what behavior we want the application to portray. So in the design phase, it is also where we define the functionalities that our bot can have or the services that it can offer to us. All right. So the next phase is the development phase. So this is where you build your application depending on your requirements. So you can um, use some of the available tools in the market or some of the open source frameworks um, that we have. All right. So in developing our a chatbot, so we have these three main components. So first is the communications channel, which is the venue of your application. So how or where will the users, where can the users find your bot? So it can be embedded in a site, or it can be integrated in a messaging app, and so on. The second is, and I think the most important one, is the natural language processing model or the NLP model. So this is what understands the user. So these NLP models are have the capability to analyze and to perform classifications, probably in our text, or in our using our natural words. So that's why our bots can understand human languages. And the third one is the intelligence or the knowledge source of the bot. So it is where the bot gets some information for it to provide to the user who utilizes the application. So it can be in the form of another tool, it can be an external application, or it can be a database. Okay, so this is the basic flow, just the basic flow of the program. So users would input their queries in the bot through a channel. So again, it can be a messaging app or some similar application. Then it goes through, the message goes to the gateway where it is being validated, um, um, it is being processed. And it goes finally to the worker where it gets the information that it needs. And from the worker, it goes back to the gateway and then back to the user. Alright, so this is a simple diagram for a gateway. So it is actually where you can find our NLP or natural language processing model. So you again you need that to or the bot needs that in order to understand human languages. So this concept is um, yeah being used by our computers to process or to process human words. So the green boxes below are the components that we need to supply as developers or as a developer of these applications. So we have intents or the actions of your bot. So we'll tackle these intents later on. We also um, manage or create the responses of our bot as well as the dialogue tree. All right. And the third phase is the deployment phase. So um, once you're done with the application, so you just deploy it to production. So in this phase, you need to consider your um, channel where you will deploy your bot, and you can also add other features for security, for example, and for scalability. Right. So those are the three phases that you need to undergo, or you need in order to create your bot. So just remember: design, develop, and deploy. And like what I've said, so our bot needs natural language processing in order to um, analyze the words coming from us. So at the back end of natural language processing is machine learning. So machine learning uses some of the algorithms that are available, um, and yeah, it uses those algorithms to process our text. So these are some of the visualizations of these algorithms. So in the past, supercomputers only supercomputers can run these natural language processing models, but thankfully we have these APIs that we can use in we can actually use these pre-existing models and integrate them in our application. So, for example, in our bots, we can utilize the models available in the market in case we want to build our own. So these are some of the NLP platforms or services available um, currently. So we have these vendor specific um, platforms, and we also have these open source libraries that we can use whenever we want to build our own NLP model. All right. So at this point, we now know the requirements in order to build a bot as well as the available tools that we have. So some questions that we need to consider before actually building. So first is, where will it live? So where will your chatbot live? So it will depend on your target audience. So what um, um, how will you want your bot to be utilized or who will be the principal users for this application. So next is what value will it add to what is existing. So in the market we have a lot of bots already. So it's important that we differentiate or have a differentiator in case we create our own. So in case of our businesses, so it's important that we um, define the benefits that this bot will or this application will provide to our existing strategies. So and also which platform to use. So it will depend on the requirements that we define. So will we use vendor specific platforms, or shall we create our own NLP model, for example, using open source platforms. So these considerations should be tackled during the design and development phase. All right. All right, so those are some informations that we need in order to start building our own bot. So the second part of this session is actually a walkthrough with one of the most common NLP tool that exists in the market today. So with this, I'll hand you over to Marielle for the demo. Marielle? Marielle? Marielle, are you still there? Okay. So yeah, maybe while waiting for Marielle. So, just like what I've said, so we have a lot of vendor-specific platforms available in the market today, and one of them is Dialogflow. So, Dialogflow is owned by Google. So, previously, its name was um, API.ai. So yeah, now it's changed to Dialogflow, and um, you can use it whenever you are beginning to explore the world of chatbots. All right. So do we have Marielle? Okay. So while waiting for Marielle, maybe we can check on some of the um, questions here. Okay, so one question that I see here is there currently an NLP that can interpret Taglish? So which is um, commonly used by users in the Philippines. So yes, there is currently there is no existing NLP that can support Taglish. So there are actually challenges in terms of these languages. So there are also languages that are hard in terms of training. So for example, Nihongo, Mandarin. So yeah, for Taglish, this is easier, but yes, there are no applications currently supporting this language. Mm, Okay, do you think a chatbot is needed if there is live support? So for this, I think there is a need for a chatbot. So you just have in this situation. So I think you just have to define the scope of this application. So for example, you have a repetitive task of gathering information from the user. Perhaps we can utilize these bots for those types of task. Yeah. So my answer is yes, but we have to define its scope. All right. Let me read some questions here while waiting for Marielle. Okay. Most of the questions I think are already answered here. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I think your questions can or being answered already here. So Marielle, are you there?
Hi everyone. Good evening.
All right. So Marielle is back.
Uh,
So
sorry about that. Okay,
yes. So
so
yeah,
now
I have.
yeah, so now let me walk you through Dialogflow. As mentioned earlier by Chammy, there are many natural language processing or NLPs that can be used in creating a chatbot, and one of these is Dialogflow. So what is Dialogflow? It is an end-to-end developer platform for building natural and rich conversational experiences. And it is also used to design and integrate a conversational user interface into mobile apps, web applications, devices, bots, interactive voice response systems, and so on. So let's proceed with the essentials of Dialogflow. First is the intent. So intents are the purpose of your dialogue. Think of intents as verbs or actions. The intent is the intention of the user, the action the user wants to take or expect from the chatbot. For example, book a flight, or call Mary, order pizza, and locate printer. So here are some best practices in defining your intent. So first is make sure to consider different ways to might convey the intention. For example, I would like to order pizza. Um, Tammy, do you have any other way in for this intent?
Oh, for ordering pizza.
Yes.
So you mean other ways of saying that I want pizza. All
Yes,
right.
yes, yes. That's right.
Oh, okay. So probably I can say I would like to have one Hawaiian pizza, please.
Yeah, that's
Or
right.
can I have a box of
Or
pizza? Mm-hmm.
yeah, so there are many ways in conveying your intention. So second is try not to keep your intents ambiguous, meaning try to keep your intents clear and certain. Avoid having intents which overlaps. For example, if you have a chatbot which handles travel arrangements such as flights and hotels, So you can choose to have these two user utterances and ideas as separate intents, or use the same intent with two entities for specific data inside the utterance, be it flights or hotels. So if the vocabulary between two intents are the same, combine the intent entities. Example, we have two user utterances: book a flight, book a hotel. So as you will notice, both use the same wording, book a. The format is the same, so it should be the same intent with different entities. One entity being flight and the other hotel. So by the way, think of entities as nouns, and we'll discuss it further later. So third is to prioritize intents that represents the most common request. So let's proceed with the next essential, which is the entities. So entities are objects acted upon by your intent. And each intent parameter has a type called the entity type, which dictates exactly how data from an end user expression is extracted. For example, I want to book a flight to San Francisco. So the entity here is location entity. And next example, I want ice mocha. So this is ice mocha falls under drink entity. So next, we can declare entities um, through the console. So we'll show you how later during the demo. You should also map entities to intents through annotation. So you will notice the words Manila, Tokyo, China, etc. are highlighted. This means they were annotated as parameters that are assigned to location entities. And these parameters allow Dialogflow to understand other locations the user may say, and not just Manila, Tokyo, and Singapore. So how does Dialogflow works? First, we will be building a chatbot through interface. It's where we provide our data in terms of training phrases or utterances. After providing training phrases, Dialogflow will undergo training and it will analyze the phrases that we entered. The output is the trained model. We use trained model to check if the output is correct or valid. Basically, this is to test your bot if working as expected. So the Dialogflow demo. So while I'm sharing my screen, please access this site, https://dialogflow.com. So for this demo, we will be needing a Google account to log in. And if in case you don't have Google account, you can create a new one. And I'll be showing you how to create a simple chatbot with Dialogflow platform later. Shucks.
All right. So while waiting for Marielle to share her screen, so again, to access Dialogflow, so just go to dialogflow.com and you can um log in to the console using your Gmail account. So um there. All right. So the screen is I hopefully it is being um it is also visible on your part. So yes, Marielle, can you start your demo on the tool?
Okay, sure. So so let's start. So first is to create an agent and click on the create agent, and let's for this demo we'll name our agent demo bot. Then we'll stick to our default language, which is English. Then click create button. So while waiting for it to be saved, um, okay, so okay, once created, you should be able to see a default fallback intent and a default welcome intent already set up. So default fallback intent is a type of which acts whenever the agent does not understand what the user is asking for. For example, your intent is order pizza, but you said, "What is the weather today?" Since it's not part of your intent, this will go to fallback intent and this basically will say, "I don't quite understand. Can you say it again?" So something like that. And default welcome intent allows the agent to recognize greetings from the user. For example, you say hi, then the bot will reply, "Good day, what can I do for you?" So let's create an intent. So to create an intent, click on the plus icon next to intents or click this create intent button. So for this demo, I will name my intent play music, then save it. So a basic intent contains the following: training phrases, actions, and parameters, and responses. So we'll try to add training phrases. So first is I wanna type 90 the song Let It Go, and please or I wanna hear Happy Birthday song. Chammy,
Yes.
would you mind give other phrases for this intent? And for the participants who are listening right now, you can also think of other phrases for this intent.
Okay, so maybe we can add I would like to listen to um maybe Baba Black Sheep.
Baba Black Sheep. Okay. Baba Black. So let's skip it for the meantime. Three phrases, but you can add as many as you can if you want to. So in order for our phrases to be trained. So let's save it. And you will be notified that the intent is saved, but it is still training. So agent training completed. Okay. So now let's go to the response. So response, okay, so response. So this will be the text delivered to the user. I will put a reply which is okay, playing your favorite song. Chammy, can you give
Mm-hmm.
other response that can be wi- for this intent?
Okay, so maybe we can put in there as you wish,
As
and then as you wish playing and then insert the title of the song. Yes. And
or
then yeah, I think maybe we can also define our entities for this intent.
yes, yes.
So
So, but you can see the second response reference entities by its value placeholders, which is the dollar sign songs, will insert the song from the request. So when the agent responds, it takes into account the parameter values gathered and will use the reply that includes those values it picked up. For example, if the request only includes a date, the agent will use the second response from the list. So now let's save this and wait for it to be trained completely. Then, so next thing to do is to identify the entity. So we can just highlight this song, specific song, and click this create new, or we can just go, oh,
all right, so
so click on these entities and then
this is where you will put the nouns that you have identified in your phrases, right? So in Marielle's example, play music. So
so
we
what
put. Mhm. Okay. So what we're doing currently is we're adding entities to our intent. So Marielle is creating the song's entity where she will put the titles of the song in our example. So we need to define entities in order to annotate it in our intents tab. So Marielle.
hello,
So yeah.
hello.
Yes, Marielle, we can hear you. So can you start modifying your entities tab?
Hmm.
Okay, so for those who are in this session, so probably if you're following the demo, so you should be able to create your own entities list. So in Marielle's example, it should be a list of songs, and then upon saving it, so you should go back to the intents tab, and then you can now annotate your entities by highlighting the noun and then selecting the right entity name. So perhaps I can proceed on sharing my screen. All right. So I have this example as well, play music. So you can this is similar to what Marielle um has done. So in case you have created your own entity, so you shall be able to annotate your nouns here, and then you shall select the right entity name for it. And in this example, I have this song and this artist entity. And then Marielle also um, informed us of creating these responses. So you can put in as many responses as you want. So in case you're done with that, so you just have to click on save and then allow the bot, or yeah, allow Dialogflow to be trained. So you shall see a message box below um, your screen. So it should say agent training started and agent training completed. So once you're done with this, so you can try testing it using this try it now pane. So we can try putting in a message here. So for example, I want to um, um, listen to Taylor Swift. So in this case, we have this query, and it seems that the bot cannot understand this yet. Um, well, maybe because we have limited words in our training phrases. So we can actually add more phrases here to capture these types of statements. So, for example, um, I put in this phrase just to check if this is um, working. So for example, I type in this statement. So we can see that the response is as expected. So we can see also in this pane that we have the right intent as well as the right values for our parameters. So that's how you test the intent that you have created. So once you're done with your bot, so for example, we are okay with this intent. So this is working fine. And this is now ready to be utilized by some users. So Dialogflow also has a feature for integrating our bots. So under these integrations tab. So it has these channels where we can deploy our agent. So it also has its own channel for web demo. So we just have to switch this on, and it will provide us this link So by clicking on this link, we should be able to see our the bot that we have created. So we can also um, test our bot using this interface. All right, so it should also work as expected. So you can also test your bot for error messages. So the expectation is it should um, um, give the responses based from the default fallback intent, as what Marielle has discussed a while ago. So for example, I want to go to New York. So we do not have intents that it handle this type of question. So it should return this response from the fallback intent. So yeah, I think that's how you do your basic chatbot using Dialogflow. So Dialogflow has actually a lot of features. So you can also go to Dialogflow's you go to Dialogflow's documentation. So it's also available on the left pane of the application. So it's actually helpful. So you can learn a lot from those documents. And yeah, I think that's the end of our demo. So unfortunately, we do not have enough time to explore everything about Dialogflow, but I hope this session would provide you the essentials in terms of learning chatbots. So, all right, here, let me just um, go back to my slides. So yes, so as I've said, so this is the end of our session. So before we formally end this, we would love to hear your feedback. So we hope you can take a few minutes to give your comments. So you just have to visit this site, www.menti.com. So menti.com, and use the code 504985. So again, menti.com, and use the code 504985. So, all right. So with this, um, we will be ending this session. So again, this is Chammy, and with me is Marielle. And we hope to see you in the next Accenture webinar. So thank you and good night.